John chapter 1, you can credit your pastor for opening my mind for the opportunity to hear from the Lord, because the men's breakfast, by the way, men, don't miss those second Saturday breakfasts. You never know what glory you passed up by not being there. The food is always glorious, but that's something we'll have to eat again and again. The glory of the Lord is eternal. So I checked to find out, I'd been out of town for a while, and I checked to find out whether the meeting was going to take place yesterday morning, and Pastor assured me that it was, and then didn't realize that what he was doing was giving God the opportunity to impregnate my mind while I was sleeping. So he said, if you have a word for us, come prepared. So I read the text, turn my phone off, and go to sleep. Are you aware of the majesty of what can take place in your life while you are sleeping? If you are careful what you think about before you go to sleep. It's a majestic, glorious thing that scientists are only now beginning to understand how it actually works. I'll get off into a rabbit trail and go down that road, so I can't do that. I got to stay focused. It's your job to help me stay focused. So I don't know how you do that, but I'm giving you the job. John chapter, I woke up and I'm laying there, and maybe at any age, but at my age, what is the first thing you think about when you wake up? The bathroom. Okay. So I'm laying there in bed, and because of my limited mobility, the last thing I want to do is get up, because my body wants to just stay right there. Wherever it is, it wants to just stay there. Anybody else like that? Yes. But other things are making you want to get up. So I'm in this indecision, and I'm laying there is winning out. So if I'm going to lay here in discomfort, I might as well do something worthwhile. So I start thinking, and the first thought that comes to my mind is John chapter 1, verse 14. And I said, I chose to believe that that was the word of the Lord for the men at the breakfast yesterday. And can you believe it? Now I have a devotional study that is going to take me at least all of this week and potentially the rest of my life to chase this whole thing down. And it's simply 3 words, only 2 of them that are critically important. John chapter 1, verse 14 says many things, but I want us to be focused. It's your job to help me stay focused. Okay? So he said, John said, we beheld the glory. Yes. All of the other stuff in there is valuable. We can't take time to talk about it today. The principle is this. Would you take a few minutes with me? Be focused now, please. Let's do what the scripture says. Let's all of us. Are you on board? Let's all of us do what it says. Behold the glory. Now, there are 2 critical principles there. The first one is glory. Folks, glory really exists. It does. It really exists. You can't, here's one of the studies you can do if you want to behold the glory. Then tomorrow morning, start making a list of things you know about God that are glorious. Okay? 4 of them we know right away. What we call the measures of deity. The 3 omnis. What are those? Omnipresence, omnipotence, omniscience. Okay? So you got the task? Start your list of the glories of God by looking at the very nature and character of God. That's an incredible study in and of its own that will make your life glorious every time you think about it. Now, I'm so stupid that at sometimes when I think about the glory of God in terms of his power, not even as much there, in terms of his knowledge, okay? When I think about his knowledge, it makes me feel stupid. And I've spent my whole life studying and trying to know some things. And it isn't any accident that I know some things. I did it on purpose. The sad thing is, I started out as a little kid and I wanted to be a know-it-all, and by the time I was 18, I sounded like a know-it-all. I was a professional know-it-all before I was even smart enough to know how stupid I actually was. And I'm 71 years old, and I'm still impressed with how stupid I really am. But I'm more impressed with the glory of knowledge. I'm increasingly impressed with the awesomeness and the glory of wisdom, which is applied knowledge. None of you need to know anything more before you could be. You don't need to know anything more to be wiser. Just apply some of what you know. It's glorious. I got to quit preaching on all these things. Behold the glory. So get into a study of gloriousness. I just got back from Costa Rica. It was my daughter was earned a trip, and it's our 50th, my wife and my 50th anniversary as of May 15 last month, and so it was her gift to us to go with her on this trip. And so I'm in Costa Rica. One of the glorious dreams that my wife has had for years. And I never could make it happen. And so she got to do the glory of ziplining in Costa Rica. Because I wasn't quite sure I would ever get her there, I've tried to talk her into ziplining in Branson, Missouri. I've tried to talk her into ziplining at other places, and fortunately, she's smart enough to say to herself, in the light of my message, she would say, I'm not going to do that because it won't be glorious enough. Is that right? Yeah. This is what I want, and I'm not settling for anything less. Right. Folks, you got to have that attitude. There is glory, and it's available, and we're going to enjoy it forever. Want it, want it, want it, demand it, pursue it. Don't let anything else keep you from the glory. I may get to live another 20 or 30 years, and I want my rest of my career to be I want it to be said of me, he was a beholder of the glory. Because I'm going to tell you something, folks. The glory is eternal. It existed before anything was ever made. It's going to last forever and ever. I am going to be basking in the glory forever. I am a beholder of the glory now, because I am a beholder of the glory forever and ever and ever and ever. Here's another study you could do. Just think of the many ways to describe glory. This is a short list. It's eternal. It's immense. You're never going to run out of things to glory in. Never. I gloried in the West Coast. We lived in Southern California. We moved there for the glory of sunshine every day. And I'm telling you, it is glorious. And when I live in Michigan, I have to find new ways to prove to myself this is glorious. Because the sun Every day is what's glorious to me. And when you have to live without the sun, it's not all that glorious. So then it's a task for me to see whether I'm a beholder of the glory, isn't it? So, glory is eternal. It's immense. It's observable. Otherwise, he wouldn't say, I beheld the glory. Isn't it amazing that John couldn't say that till after the resurrection? He beheld the glory before the resurrection, but those were just incidents. He couldn't quite figure all those things out that he saw. How does a person walk on water? It's pretty glorious, but he couldn't figure it out. Well, I'm sure it was much more glorious after Jesus was gone. And then he started thinking about the glorious things I saw and observed. Okay. Folks, what you know of Jesus is glorious, isn't it? It's much more glorious than what I know. Pursue the glory.